Right now, millions of seniors across America are waiting to see if their Social Security benefits will be protected, or if they'll face even higher taxes on their retirement income. Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill has already passed the House, but it's hitting major roadblocks in the Senate, and the consequences could directly impact your wallet. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what's in this controversial bill, why Republicans are fighting among themselves about it, and most importantly, what it could mean for Social Security, Medicaid, and your financial future. We'll also reveal why some experts are calling parts of this bill a sick tax on America's most vulnerable. Stay with us until the end, because we'll show you exactly how to make your voice heard on this issue. And trust us, your senators need to hear from you right now. Welcome to Financial Area, where we break down complex financial news that affects your money. If you want to stay informed about policies that impact your finances, hit that like button and subscribe for more money-smart content. Now, let's dive into what's really happening with this bill that could change everything for American seniors. The first thing you need to understand is that Trump's Big Beautiful Bill isn't delivering on one of his biggest campaign promises. Remember when he said he'd eliminate taxes on Social Security income entirely? Well, that's not what we're getting. Instead, the bill offers a temporary $4,000 standard deduction for seniors who earn below certain income thresholds. While this sounds helpful, it's a far cry from the complete tax elimination that was promised. Here's the catch that many people are missing. This deduction is only temporary. It expires in 2028. Which means seniors who are planning their retirement finances can't count on this benefit long term. Imagine being 65 years old today, thinking you have some tax relief coming, only to discover that in just 3 years, that relief disappears. This creates a massive planning problem for anyone trying to budget their retirement income. But the Social Security changes are just the beginning. The bill also makes significant alterations to Medicaid that could be devastating for millions of Americans, especially seniors. The legislation introduces new work requirements for Medicaid recipients, which might sound reasonable on the surface, but here's what it really means in practice. Many Medicaid recipients are already working, often in low-wage jobs that don't provide health insurance. Others are caregivers for elderly family members, or they're dealing with chronic health conditions that make consistent employment difficult. These work requirements create bureaucratic hurdles that could result in people losing their health care coverage, not because they're unwilling to work, but because they can't navigate the system or meet arbitrary requirements. The bill also includes a freeze on provider taxes, which might sound like a good thing, but it actually threatens funding for critical health care services. These taxes help states fund their Medicaid programs, and without them, many states, especially rural states, could see their health care systems crumble. This puts seniors at particular risk because they're the heaviest users of healthcare services. Now here's where things get really complicated politically. The bill needs to raise the debt ceiling to prevent a government default, but it's tied to all these other controversial provisions. This creates a perfect storm where Republicans in the Senate are fighting among themselves about what to do. Some Republican senators are genuinely worried about harming seniors in their states. They're looking at these Medicaid work requirements and the temporary nature of the Social Security relief and thinking, this could hurt the people who voted for us. These senators represent states with large senior populations who depend heavily on these programs. On the other side, you have Republican senators who are demanding even deeper cuts to federal spending. They're saying, if we're going to raise the debt ceiling, we need to slash government programs across the board. This group wants to see major reductions in federal spending, including programs that benefit seniors and veterans. The math here is brutal for Republican leadership. They can only afford to lose a few votes in the Senate, and right now, they've got senators pulling in completely opposite directions. Some want to protect seniors, others want to cut spending dramatically, and finding a middle ground that satisfies both sides is proving nearly impossible. This is where the sick tax controversy comes into play, and it's something every American should understand. When you impose work requirements on Medicaid recipients, you're essentially creating a system where sick people are penalized for being sick. Think about it. If you have diabetes, heart disease, or another chronic condition, maintaining steady employment can be incredibly challenging. But under these new requirements, your healthcare coverage could depend on your ability to work consistently. Critics are calling this a sick tax because it forces people who are already struggling with health issues to jump through additional hoops to maintain their healthcare coverage. It's like charging people extra for being unwell, which is exactly the opposite of what a healthcare system should do. The real-world impact of this could be devastating. Imagine a 60-year-old woman who's been caring for her elderly mother while dealing with her own health issues. She might work part-time when she can, but the new requirements could force her to choose between caring for her mother and maintaining her healthcare coverage. This isn't theoretical. This is the reality millions of Americans could face if this bill passes. Meanwhile, the debt ceiling component adds another layer of urgency and danger to this entire situation. The United States has never defaulted on its debt, but we're potentially heading toward that scenario if Congress can't agree on this bill. And here's what that could mean for you personally. If the bill passes with all its current provisions, there will be clear winners and losers. Some seniors might benefit from the temporary $4,000 deduction, at least until 2028. But many others could lose access to Medicaid services they depend on, especially if they can't meet the new work requirements, or if their state's healthcare system loses funding due to the provider tax freeze. The temporary nature of the benefits is particularly troubling. Policy experts warn that creating temporary tax relief while making permanent cuts to healthcare programs is a recipe for long-term problems. Seniors might get a small break on their taxes for a few years, but they could lose access to essential healthcare services permanently. But what happens if the bill fails entirely? This scenario might be even worse in the short term. Without raising the debt ceiling, the United States could hit its borrowing limit, which would force the government to prioritize which bills to pay. Social Security payments could be delayed, veteran benefits might be suspended, and federal employees could face furloughs. The financial markets would likely react very badly to a debt ceiling breach. Your retirement accounts, your investments, even your home's value could all be affected by the market turmoil that would follow. This puts seniors in a particularly difficult position because they often have less time to recover from market losses than younger investors. This is also why the timeline matters so much. Congress has a limited window to act before hitting the debt ceiling, and every day that passes increases the pressure to make a deal. Any deal, even if it's not in the best interests of seniors and other vulnerable Americans. So, what can you do about this? Your voice actually matters more than you might think in this situation. Senators are paying close attention to what their constituents are saying, especially on high-profile issues like this one. A flood of calls and emails from concerned seniors and their families can absolutely influence how senators vote. Here's exactly what you needed to do. First, find out who your senators are and how to contact them. You can do this easily by searching online for your state senators and looking up their official contact information. Don't use generic contact forms if you can avoid them. Phone calls and personalized emails tend to get more attention. When you contact them, be specific about your concerns. Don't just say you oppose the bill. Explain how it would affect you personally. Are you worried about losing Medicaid coverage due to work requirements? Are you concerned that the temporary Social Security relief will disappear just when you need it most? Are you caring for elderly family members who could be hurt by healthcare funding cuts? Share your story. Also, don't assume your senators already know your position. Even if they're from your political party, they need to hear from you directly about how this bill would affect their constituents. Politicians often make decisions based on the feedback they're getting from voters. And if they're not hearing from people like you, they might assume you support whatever they're planning to do. The timeline for action is critical here. Decisions about this bill are likely to be made within the next few weeks, so contacting your senators now is essential. Waiting until after they've already voted won't help anyone. You should also stay informed about developments with this bill because the situation is changing rapidly. Follow reliable news sources and don't rely solely on social media for updates. The details of this legislation are complex, and understanding exactly what's being proposed will help you communicate more effectively with your representatives. This situation perfectly illustrates why staying engaged with the political process matters, even when it seems overwhelming or confusing. The decisions being made right now in Washington will directly affect your Social Security benefits, your healthcare coverage, and your overall financial security in retirement. The fight over Trump's big, beautiful bill isn't just about politics. It's about the fundamental question of how America takes care of its seniors and most vulnerable citizens, whether you're already retired, approaching retirement, or planning for the future. The outcome of this legislative battle will shape your financial reality for years to come.